I really do miss the good old days. A lot. They'll just never be back, you know? What's happening now?
I got my camera on now, too. Hey.
He's in a plane. Are you sure it's not a truck?
It's a truck. It's my
Is that
trucker headset.
Is that safe to be driving with a headset on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's made specifically for truckers.
Okay.
Dude. This is a $400 headset.
Oh, is it Bose?
It's a Garmin.
Oh, well. For whatever reason, the pizzeria next door hates my guts. So they recognize me whenever I sit out here. And they really hate me. they hate me.
Don't want homeless people around.
No, it's me specifically. It's not homeless people. They hate me.
Oh.
Yo.
Did you piss off one of the workers, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, there was an incident with the police and stuff. I'm not getting into it. It happened.
That's why.
No, I don't. I look terrible. I look awful. I look like a homeless bum, crippled, loser, dork. And I wish I was dead.
Damn.
You look good, man. You're not fat.
You look fine.
You
look like an 8 or something. 7
No,
or 8.
it's just because of the way I'm holding the camera. It looks better. Yeah, it's definitely gotten better, but it's still, when I look out of just that eye, in case you other guys are wondering, I had really bad eye infection, and my eye got all swollen shut, and I couldn't see out of this eye. It was all swollen shut, and it hurt like hell. But now the pain is gone, the redness is gone, and the swelling is gone. But when I just look at it, just that eye, everything's cloudy. Not nearly as bad as it was, but it's definitely not back to normal. Everything's cloudy, and it's freaking me out because if I look out of my rear view mirror on my passenger side of my car, I can't.
Crap.
It's like I can't see it really well. Other than that,
see the eye doctor.
Yeah, I don't do doctors.
I know. I don't blame you. I get it.
Well, can you see just a nurse without having to also see a doctor?
I don't think so.
Yeah, sorry, Benny.
Unless you know a nurse personally who's willing to do it.
Yeah. So my life is pretty much over. It's a downward spiral. I'm just taking it day by day, and I'm just planning to not shoot my last bullet. That way I can commit suicide and blow my brains out and be done with this nightmare that is this wretched waste of space that is me in my life. And
you should throw that bullet away. Just get rid of it.
So I've been sleeping in my car. I'm semi-homeless. If my car breaks down, I'm really screwed because then I really am homeless. And my car is an old car. It can break down any moment. It's real small. I can't really lay down right, so I haven't gotten real good sleep in a long time. And I've just given up on all hopes and dreams and just hate my life.
You gotta... I mean,
But
you can turn things around. It's not too late.
That's just my situation, you know. So how are you guys?
Not that old.
I'm older than I look.
Working. Driving.
Yeah.
I'm a
Also
trucker, so
driving.
I get on here when I'm driving. You're a trucker too? That's
Yeah.
right. Think you were saying that. Nice.
Did you see the images I posted, guy from the south?
They cut my data down because I don't know, they scanned me or whatever. Where'd you post it?
In the Discord chat, in here and Benny server.
Okay, I'll look at this one.
Not really.
Oh yeah, thanks for that. I want to save all this.
Back when I used to have that other home, it was a lot closer to get here. I would even walk here. It was a long walk, but I would do it. But that's in the past now.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll recognize some of the images or organizations listed.
Yeah.
Oath Keepers, 3%ers, Gun Owners of America.
Yeah. Crazy.
We knew this
And
was coming over. What's that?
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna tell
was-
him maybe he's gonna have to move. Like I know in Kentucky it would be hard work, but there's coal mines they start out at 30 an hour, and
Wow.
yeah, but they use water cannons now, so it's not as dangerous as it used to be. So like you
There's
don't
no
get the
way.
black log.
Yeah, I'm a cripple. I can't do stuff like that. It wouldn't even be fair. I couldn't even do what you guys are doing. It
You
would
can't
be
even drive a truck?
hell no.
I seen disabled guys drive trucks.
Well, I can't. I don't need to be corrected.
You could learn. You could learn.
I can't physically do it. Okay, guys.
I seen guys in wheelchairs drive trucks.
Why are you correcting me? I didn't even invite you into this server. Benny did. Why are you in here correcting me and telling me I don't know my own life?
I'm just trying to help you.
Okay, well, I don't need your help.
Okay. I mean, like I said, I've been in that situation before.
Just stop. Can't you take a hint?
All right, Nash, I'll go.
Damn. Daniel-san. What? Okay. It's just easier to hold that way. I try to keep it horizontal. My finger's getting in the way. Alright. Well, yeah. I don't have a tripod. Plus, I can't see your ball as well. Okay, well, I can see it great now. That was awkward. I can't move my neck. I shouldn't even be driving a car at all. I can't move my neck. So I can't see mirrors. I can't turn left at a stop sign. There is no way I could be a professional driver. The only way I can drive is routes that are very specific, that are very familiar to me. And even then, I avoid stop signs unless they're four-way stop signs. I sincerely cannot. I actually pulled out in front of somebody today, trying to turn left. Like, I cannot turn left at a stop sign. I cannot be a truck driver. I don't understand why do I have to be corrected on that? So there's a guy in a wheelchair. I'm not in a wheelchair. I'm not a guy in a wheelchair. I have a very specific condition, and I can't do it. Why do I have to be corrected on that? I certainly can't work in a freaking coal mine. I can't even do the theater work I used to do. I mean, I can't even look forward anymore. I can only look down. Unless, like right now, I'm sitting back in a chair and I'm leaning back in the chair. If I were to be sitting in this chair like a normal person, I'd be like this. And so, like, I can't, this is ridiculous. This idea that it's just all in my head. It's so insulting to me. Like, I'm such a worthless piece of trash that the only thing I need is a pep talk from random people on the internet and I'll be just fine. That's basically telling me I don't have real problems. I'm just an idiot. I just need a pep talk and everything will be fine. That's so insulting to me. If all, like, I would just willingly choose this life for no reason when I don't have to. And then also, it's just a matter of my ethical stance on things. Like, I can't do it anymore. I can't be some cog in a wheel for some horrible nightmare. So if I'm a truck driver, what am I shipping? That matters to me. What's in the back of the truck? That matters to me. I just can't be a part of this world anymore. I thought we were going to strive for greatness. That's what I thought this whole Trump thing represented. But boy, was I wrong. God damn. I have never been more wrong about anything in my life. It's just a reboot of the cover-ups. And this wonderful internet culture has turned into Andrew Tate crap. And it's just, give me a break. What a joke. Well, that, like, Gamergate was this, the whole point of Gamergate was it was about video games. And it was about this fantasy. It wasn't about it. It was about mean feminists who were trying to say that guys can't save the damsel in distress in a video game. It has become just the hate of all women in all contexts. When that's not what it started out as. And it also didn't start out as something political. It started out as something cultural. And it has become this nightmare. It has become this right-wing nightmare, and it's all because of Trump. And this Trump came along and tricked us all into thinking he was our guy, our Gamergate president. When I bet Trump doesn't even know what Gamergate even is. It's such a nightmare. Right-wing politics is just such a nightmare. And all these right-wing guys, they're all just bullies now. The whole thing has become just be a bully. Alright, so it's working good. Cool. And I'm just... Well, I guess I'm just butthurt because it didn't go the way I wanted it to go. So, that's why I just feel like I should just, rather than be butthurt because it didn't go the way I wanted it to go, I shouldn't be like that. I should just fuck off. Man, there's some people who sat down right next to me. This place is closed. Can you still hear me? I'm gonna have to talk all quiet. Okay. God, this is so awkward. I miss being able to just have a home. Just miss my old life so much. It was so great. Trump's America fucking sucks. This is not the way it was during World War II. This is the way it was during the Great Depression, you know? During World War II, everyone was coming together with a common enemy. But that's not what's happening. Because if everyone were to come together with a common enemy, then we couldn't worship Sun Tzu and put all the frat boys in charge of making themselves rich and making everyone else poor. It's such a betrayal. It's such a betrayal. I mean, QAnon is right. It's going to be biblical. And all of these Trump fuckers are all, when the book of Revelation talks about those who are false, it's talking about these Trump fuckers. I just hate them. God, I hate them. Yes, they're all so fake. They're such wretched slime. I bet you Trump faked this whole FBI raid thing because the midterms are coming up. I mean, that's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with people who are that fake that they will fake a Maybe this wasn't the best idea to come here. I guess this pizzeria, like, uses these tables now. They didn't used to do that. That's why that guy looked at me all weird. Some guy walked by, looked at me all weird. I thought he just recognized me, but he's probably all upset because I'm sitting outside of a closed business. But this pizzeria, man, like, they think that these parks out front on the street are their parks. I guess they now think these tables are their tables. This place is like, these people are jerks. Danielson. All right, if you, now that there's another person here, if you type, like, I can only see the middle of the ball. So you can only really type 3 lines. I can see the whole ball if I go vertical, but according to you, vertical is bad. So I shouldn't go vertical. Okay. Bad. So, kind of like Trump in the glass of water. So, just remember that I can only see the middle of your ball. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm looking at like a split screen where the screen is split sideways. So it's like, here, I'll let you know. Like, draw a line, go up from the middle. No, go up from the middle. Up, not sideways. Up, go up. Okay, keep going. Stop. Now draw down. Keep going. Stop. So that's all I can see. So you got to make sure whatever you type is within the red rectangle. If it's not within the red rectangle, then there's no telling what will happen. All right. So we're going to conduct an interview. Yesterday was a trial run. First question. Okay. Oh. So wait, am I asking the questions or am I answering the questions? Oh, I didn't realize we were doing back and forth like that. I'm not prepared to ask questions. All right, Dan, I'll ask a question. Dan, I'll ask you. I didn't realize. This is the exact opposite of what I was thinking was going to happen. Okay, Dan, are they eating rats in Venezuela? Okay, stop. No, wait, no. Apparently, no. Okay. Okay. Didn't realize we were.
I'd probably rob a bank, Benny. Well,
I mean, that would.
I would rob a couple banks, make some money, and then get a good microphone and start doing ASMR. I would tell conspiracy theories, talk about conspiracy theories with an ASMR voice.
Nice. Nice. I like that. That's a good plan.
Fuck, Benny. I answered the question.
Yeah. What would I do if I woke up as Dan? Oh. Dan already answered the question. Dan would rob a bank and start an ASMR conspiracy theorist channel. Well, it wouldn't be my life. I die in this hypothetical, and Dan, what happens? I guess Dan's body just falls over dead. My consciousness dies. So you're basically murdering people in this. That just sounds like a cop-out. Well, no, it's the truth. Dan would leave his body, so his body would just fall over dead, and Dan would go into my body, and so my consciousness would die, and the world would lose me, and so are you asking me what I would do if I could go into Dan's body? Like if we were to switch bodies? So Dan goes into my body, I go into Dan's body. Dan goes and robs a bank, banks plural, and then starts a conspiracy theorist ASMR channel. And then me in Dan's body, yeah, I would be. I'd still be living in the same world. I'd still be living in the same nightmare. But I'd be younger. I'd be a lot younger. And I wouldn't have a messed up neck. Brace yourself, Dan. Life in my body is going to be challenging. I don't think you have any idea. You think you know, but you have no idea. So without having a screwed up neck, we'll see. I think, Dan, there would definitely be a learning period. If I was you, I wouldn't rob the bank right away. First, you want to get used to life as me. And maybe. I don't know. Depends on how successful he was with the bank robbing and the ASMR channel. Yeah, it's going to be a lot harder to be in this screwed up, crippled body than in the body he's used to. But if I could be in Dan's body, and I was young and fixed again, no. My problems are not internal as much as they are external. But I would still have a new body, and I guess I'd have a job. I'd have to learn Spanish real quick. I don't know how to speak Spanish, so I don't know percentage-wise how fixed would it be. How fixed would my life be if I was in Dan's body? Well, it would be pretty awesome to not have a screwed up neck. That would be pretty nice. I don't know how to put a number on it though. At least a solid 20%. Oh man, I guess I'd have to give that up. That makes me sad. Well, no. It's not about courage. It's about doing right by her. And so she deserves somebody who can properly provide and protect, as well as somebody that makes her feel special and pretty. And I can't do all that. I can't really do that in Dan's body, or I mean, maybe in Dan's body, but there's just a bigger picture to it all, you know? It isn't just, I just feel like this is the satanic beast system. I don't want to succeed in it. I don't know how else to say it, you know? I want to fail. It's the right thing to do. I don't know. But if I was in Dan's body, maybe I'd start confronting Antifa again. Because I'd be a little bit better able to run away and protect myself. I don't know what I would do about Dan's job, though. That would be an issue. Because I can't do Dan's job. Because as far as I know, Dan's job requires speaking Spanish. Will I get cut? Yeah, that's another thing. Is like I'd feel very awkward in another man's body. Would feel very out of place. Okay. Well, see, that makes me uncomfortable talking about that. Oh man. I thought the ambulance was about to park, but they didn't park. They just like went up on the sidewalk or something. I thought they were about to ruin the ambiance of the background chatter. It's busier than I was thinking it would be, yes, but I will get over it. Life will go on. Maybe if I was in Dan's body, I'd reboot my whole confronting Antifa thing. but I don't know how to get the inside intel like I used to. I used to really have a good hookup on inside intel. I don't have that anymore. So even if I wanted to reboot the Antifa thing, I really wouldn't know how. No, it would be really awkward to interact with Dan's family because I'm not Dan. I would probably ruin Dan's server. I would definitely ruin Dan's job. So I wouldn't know how I'd get money. Yeah. I think it would end up being like kind of a nightmare because I wouldn't know what to do. Yeah, but I don't have any. I wouldn't know I wouldn't know where to go for work and how to get enough money to pay the rent and bills and stuff. It's not about motivation. It's about I just don't want to succeed in a system that I think is evil. That's why I was so excited about changing everything. But then we didn't change anything. It was just reboot the same nightmare. So it's the biggest letdown in the history of the world. I'm a very motivated person, but I'm not a perfectionist, and I like my time off. I know I'm not about the grind all day every day. It's just not my thing. It's just so bizarre to live in a world where it's like you got to do that or else you're homeless. I'd rather just be homeless if that's how it's going to be. Plus, I don't want to succeed in this world. Is there a bet you willing to take? Is there a bet I'd be willing to take? And what would I be willing to bet? Well, I'm pretty poor now, so I wouldn't want to bet money. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of over. I don't really want to bet. I always lose bets. Every time I ever think I got an idea of what's coming next or what I can count on or hope for, I'm always wrong. And I'm always disappointed. You want to bet Trump won't be president? What are we going to bet? So wait. I'm sure he will be. Total loser. I'm not voting for him. I can tell you that right now. He's gotten all the votes from me he's going to get. I'm never going to vote again in any of these fake elections ever again for the rest of my life. At noon on January 20th, 2021. A little before that, when he got in that helicopter, when he walked away and got in that helicopter, which wasn't even him. It's just like all a big show. I'm just so sick of being lied to by baby boomers. It's all they ever do. I was so looking forward to a baby boomer that was honest with me and someone I could trust and look up to and depend on and respect. And instead, I just get lied to more and treated like just get treated like absolute property. I just get treated like I'm some cattle or something. What I was hoping for, I got literally the exact opposite of what I was hoping for. So what did Trump do to make you turn on him? The exact opposite of what he led me to believe he was going to do. I thought he was going to tell the truth and do the right thing. But instead, he just told more lies and did the selfish, greedy prick thing. He got in a heli. Yeah. that was the moment when I really felt like it was over. That was that. Before that, I kept expecting this big reveal. I kept expecting that he was going to tell the truth, which meant, I mean, that was going to probably mean triggering the emergency broadcast system and shutting down civilization. And I thought this whole COVID thing was like a trial run to do that at first. I was just so looking forward to it. I was so excited. I felt like a kid on Christmas morning. And I woke up on Christmas morning and Santa Claus didn't come. And there was nothing under the tree. And that's a bad analogy because, you know, nobody really needs a toy. Like, I felt like, you know what it felt like? You want to play a scene from a movie? You might get a copyright. You don't have to play the scene, but there's this Johnny Depp movie. It's kind of a spoiler, like it spoils the movie. It's towards the end. But there's this Johnny Depp movie, and he plays this cocaine dealer, and hold on a second. I might have to leave. I think I gotta leave. I'm gonna go somewhere else. Well, I guess maybe not. Okay. It's just the guy at the coffee shop showed up. The guy that like owns the coffee shop that I'm sitting out front of. I don't think he likes me very much. I used to come here all the time. He definitely knows who I am. He went inside. I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable out here. But there's this Johnny Depp movie. And in the scene where towards the end, like he gets busted. And he had promised his daughter he was going to take her and start a whole new life. And then she had packed her bags and was ready to go. And then he never showed up. That's how I felt. Like I had my bags packed. I was ready to go start a new life. And Trump just walked away. Never showed up. Because we have to worship the baby boomer generation. So we can't start a new life because it's not what's best for these old people. So we have to just suffer and be miserable. So that's how I felt. I felt just like that little girl in that Johnny Depp movie. Like I had my bags all packed and I was ready to rock and roll. And I just was left sitting there on the side of the road. And I thought I was about to start this whole new life, and I didn't. And instead, my life just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And now I'm homeless. And I eat once a day, and I hate my life, and I think about killing myself all the time. I can't imagine turning any of this around. And there sure as hell is no way I'm ever going to respect any fucking baby boomer ever again for the rest of my life. And this whole big cover-up of all this crap. All of these military guys that are all lying about everything. The ninth layer of hell is too good for them. If there was a thing you can fix by snapping your fingers, I would have the truth about 9/11 come out right now. Whatever the consequences of it are, then that's what they are. And if that means that means the end of the United States of America, if that means the end of the precious little military, so be it. I don't think that that would happen, but if that's what would happen, then fine. That's what I would do. That would fix the whole world. That would give this world back to God. That would wake all these people up and snap them out of this dream that they're all trapped in. People are so ugly to each other. People are so mean to each other. And the reason why is because they're trapped in this great delusion. And I just can't believe I fell for yet another lie. I'll never make that mistake again. Yeah, show me a pic of Dan. Okay. Somehow I doubt that's Dan. That looks like some, what do they call it? What do they call pics that are, you can purchase them? What do they call those? I'm drawing a blank on generic pictures of things that you can buy. That's the discount Dan. Why? Because he's chubby? I guess. I mean, they have maybe got some similar qualities. Is this a video? He looks like he's different now. He changed his appearance. Is that live action Peter Griffin? VLC? I don't know anything about that. A video program. No, that'll never happen. I pretty much blew all the money I was planning to spend on that. I don't have the money to do it anymore. I'm definitely not going to be, I mean, I'm living, I don't have, you know, I'm not, I don't have, no, it's never going to happen. No, I can't. I'm spending well over half of my income on rent, and then the rest of my money goes to food, and that's that. I won't be saving up anything. And what I was planning to do apparently isn't legal. I wanted to buy some land and build a tiny house in a place where I wasn't in like a super duper remote location, and ideally could walk to a grocery store, or at the very least was very close to one. And I now know that in the United States of America, you can't just buy a piece of land and build what you want, even if it's up to code and stuff, because there are requirements. You know, they don't want to upset the boomers by making them realize how poor everybody is. So just go be homeless instead. It's not legal to do what I was hoping to do. So I will never be building a fucking tiny house.
Nashy Nash.
That's me!
Hey,
Boy, these questions are depressing me. Would you move? I don't want to. I wouldn't have any idea where to go. You know, I'm a big fan of this show Naruto. And in this show Naruto, all the
Okay,
people
so
in the
Mark
village
Dice is
that
Nash. I didn't know that. Or maybe I forgot.
I'm a big fan of the show Naruto, and in the show Naruto, all these people in this village live in this village, and they think of people who move and leave the village as like traitors. They very much look down on people who move away, and they think of them as traitors. That you would never leave the village, and they either try to go get them and try to get them to come back, or they just think of them as trash. They just think of them as traitors. That's what I think about people who move around all the time. I look at them the same way that Naruto looks at people who leave the village. Like, you're a traitor. But that's the American culture now. It's the traitor culture. It's the stab everyone in the back culture. It's the Trump culture. So, I mean, I guess, leave Raleigh. I mean, I wouldn't, I was hoping to live in Raleigh the rest of my life, but I can't anymore because there's just too many investors who aren't rich enough. So apparently I gotta leave so they can make money off of what used to be my home and fuck it all up and destroy it. I mean, the idea of this happening, like, if from Naruto's point of view, if a bunch of people left the village and a bunch of other people moved in and made it so that Naruto had to go start living in his car, he would think he was being invaded and would fight back and would, like, kill them. But no. And then he would be the hero that saves the village. But in our screwed up, disgusting nightmare of a world, Naruto would just be a homeless bum that's just in the way of magic numbers on spreadsheets going up and getting bigger so Trump can take the credit for it. It's just, I mean, we're talking about traitors. It's the traitor culture. This boomer crap is just the traitor culture. I'm telling you, the people of the future aren't going to be anything like this. This big experiment that's been going on for the last 3 or 4 generations out of thousands of generations. This planet, thousands of generations. For the last 5, we've been doing this big experiment, and it's, destroying the world. And people are going to snap out of it at some point and not do this anymore. And they're going to look back at this baby boomer Donald Trump way of life in absolute disgust and think of these people like traitors. They're going to think of them as just terrible people, just absolutely disgusting slime. Like all these SJWs look back at Nazis, and they're gonna, like, in the future, the word boomer is gonna be like the word Nazi. You're gonna label somebody, the most evil people are gonna be called boomers, not Nazis. And there's gonna be somebody saying, "I'm not a boomer. What do I do that makes me like a boomer?" Like, people say, "I'm not a Nazi. What makes me like a Nazi?" I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, this way of life is the satanic beast system for real. I think it actually is. What? What am I waiting on? I don't know if they're both the same volume level. Why do you say that? Let's test. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right. Compare that. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Or do you mean the volume from my point of view? I don't know. I don't hear any sound, so I can't. I'd have to hear sound that was real stereo, like it was all the way to the right and then all the way to the left. I had mono bud where I just had the one, and I kind of missed that, honestly. I just thought I had lost it, but then I found it in my car. These cost, like, I don't know, I can't remember. These are like literally made by slaves. These are literally made by slaves. They were rounded up on trains and taken to camps with black hoods over their heads and stuff. Yeah, like this is just like everything about this way of life is so vile. Like I make so many movie references. I feel like the big black guy from Green Mile, where like it's not like I don't want to be a part of this world, not because I think I'm a problem, because the world is just so awful. I don't want to be a part of it anymore. It's like glass in my head. It's not that I am looked so down on myself and I need a pep talk. No, the world is beneath me. It's disgusting. Nash, should I upload to YouTube or BitChute? This is not turning out to be a very pleasant interview. It's a lot of depressing questions with depressing answers. I don't know, whatever you want. YouTube, BitChute, whatever. Well, I don't know. I get it. I'm a loser. Everybody hates my guts and want me to stop being a loser. But I'm not going to do it, so just deal with it. You want me to stop being a loser, then fix the world and stop. I'm not ever going to accept this wretched nightmare as some good thing, and it's never going to happen. I'm never going to be happy in this big giant nightmare. So if you want me to be happy and everything stay the way that it is, sorry, you're not going to get what you want. You can have one or the other. So did you ever follow any sports teams? No, not really. My face looks muscular. What? This is a very specific angle that I hold the camera at whenever I point a camera at myself, because I look really bad, so I don't. Yeah, it's very, very misleading, and because I look so bad. Well, thank you. I learned that Lauren Southern used to get lip injections, and then she stopped. And so you never followed a sports team? No, I never followed a sports team. I never really kept up with sports all that much. There was a time in my life when I used to follow the UFC. I mean, you know, in North Carolina, college basketball is a really big part of North Carolina culture. So just because I grew up here, I have been around quite a lot of college basketball, and in particular UNC and Duke. But there was a chapter in my life, the only sport that I have been personally drawn to and have personal interest in is MMA. I don't really find boxing as interesting as MMA. So I've always been drawn to MMA and the UFC and thought it was cool. But there was a time where I actually watched all of the UFC events because I lived in this apartment, and there was this like sports bar that would always buy the pay-per-view fights, and Not really. I mean, it was a brief chapter in my life. It was really only a couple of years. But there was, the sports bar would always get all the pay-per-view events. So I'd go and it was like my little routine. I really enjoyed it. I'd go and I'd get chicken fingers and sit at the bar and watch the UFC thing all the way through. So I'd sit there for hours. And I'd even get a beer. It was back in my normie days. I'd even get a beer and sip on a beer. I would always get what was it? Carolina Blue, I think, was the beer I'd get. Well, this was a long time ago. And I would sip on this $5 beer for a couple of hours. I think it was Carolina Blue, and it would come with an orange slice, and I'd always ask for extra orange. So I would squeeze orange. It was I don't know why, I really enjoyed a lot of fresh squeezed orange juice. Literally, I'd ask for 4 or 5 of these orange slices, not a lemon, the orange. That's what a Carolina Blue is supposed to come with, and I'd go overboard and squeeze a whole bunch of oranges, essentially a whole orange. I'd squeeze into the Carolina Blue, and then sip on that for a couple hours. And it was one of the most pricey beers that they sold there. So it was that. Yeah, I definitely, this dude's around me getting all drunk, and I'm sitting here sipping it was a Wheaton. So the dudes around me, I'm sure, thought I was gay or whatever, but it was my little routine, and I enjoyed it, and I loved it, but then I moved away from that apartment, and that little sports bar is a Walgreens now. So it's not even an option anymore. It's not even physically there anymore. Do I remember any fighters? Well, then I got interested in the UFC, but I never got interested in it I just don't really care all that much about who beats who and stats and stuff. I just like watching highlight reels. So I'm the kind of guy that real fans of the UFC hate me. They think I don't have any idea what I'm talking about. When I do understand the basics of what I'm looking at, I understand kinetic linkage and stuff like that. But so yeah, I don't really remember names. I do know a lot of names, but I just don't know if they were from that period of time. That it was only a year or two. But if I had to pick a sport that I like, it's MMA. It was only 08, 09, and a little bit of 2010. So whatever was the UFC fighters of that period, I was keeping up with it at that time. But yeah, and I was interested in it before that and keeping up with it before that and after that, but just not like I was. I actually could have imagined myself really getting into it and following it really well, really closely and stuff if I could have kept going to that bar and could have had that experience. But I'm a very social person, and I like to share my experiences, and I just don't care so much about something like the UFC. What I care about is chicken fingers and a bar and good ambiance and a good drink to wash down my chicken fingers with, and and that's that's what I appreciate in life, not stupid stats. I just don't care about that kind of stuff, and I just feel like I'm so outnumbered by people who do, and they just get so worked up over like to the UFC guys. I just don't care that much about you to care which one of you wins or loses. I don't care enough about you to keep up with your career or your stats. I just enjoy the sports bar chicken finger experience. And the whole bouncy ball thing, I just find it so stupid. I'm sorry. I don't want to be like that, but bouncy ball games to me are for kids. I don't care if it's football or baseball or soccer. Excuse me. I don't care if it's football or American football or basketball. It's just all so childish. Go out there and play with a ball. It's like, come on, grow up. But that's just me. I understand that most people don't think that way, and people have their team, and they get all into it, and they get all into stats and stuff. And it's like, okay, whatever. Not my thing. Were people fighting at the bar? No, I don't remember there ever being any drama at the bar, or as Lauren Southern would say, a drama. I don't remember that ever happening. Oh, there was also karaoke night at that bar, and so I would go to karaoke night sometimes, and I never got the courage to go up and sing, but for whatever reason, I found it entertaining. Because there's some karaoke bars, there's some bars that do karaoke where like actual real singers that are trying to make it go there for experience. And then there's other bars that do karaoke where people just go and have fun. And it's not like there's somebody trying to take it all serious. This was definitely a just people would just go and have fun type karaoke experience. And so, yeah. I had a lot of fun at that little bar. I wish it was still there. You ever had a fight as an adult? Well, I mean, I've had to defend myself numerous times from these antifa people attack me. No, I got a little physical with one of the guys once, but that was just because he was trying to rip my iPad out of my hands, which he actually did manage to do. But I think he was trying to steal it. I don't know what he's trying to do, but he did get it out of my hands, and then he just threw it on the ground and smashed it up. But it still kept working after that. Have I ever been in a fight as an adult? Not really, no. But I don't think a real fight is a very rare thing. It's usually one person attacks another person, and then that's it. Most violence in the real world is a sucker punch if it's between men, and then oftentimes some bully will beat up someone half their size who can't defend themselves, or a woman or something. But like a real fight between two dudes that actually stand their ground and fight each other is actually very rare. I have found in life. It's very Hollywood. It's very. And then another thing about confrontation is that your adrenaline pumps. Your adrenaline gets pumping. So there are a lot of John Waynes out there. There are many in the ghetto. I mean, I've seen World Star. There's also a lot of fights in the trailer parks. But even there, I mean, you say that, I don't know. What I'm saying is I don't think World Star accurately represents anything that has anything to do with reality. I think that most of the people that are trying to be World Star, it's just they sneak up on somebody and they sucker punch somebody. And it's like, that's like, who cares? If you were forced to move from Raleigh, where would I go? Well, I would go wherever I could survive. I doubt I would have much of a choice about it. Wherever I could live, which I haven't the slightest idea. What's my favorite destination? Raleigh. um, I feel like a hobbit in the Shire, and you're like asking me, "Whoa, if you could leave the Shire, where would you want to go?" And a hobbit would just laugh and say, "What? Why would I do that?" Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to stop making Lord of the Rings references. No more Tolkien references. No more. I'm gonna stop doing it now. If I won the lottery, I would literally buy a house in the neighborhood that I've been living in for the last 10 years. I would literally, and I wouldn't even buy a big mansion. I mean, I would do that if somebody gave me $1 billion. I would just buy a house in the neighborhood that I'm already been living in, the one that I'm being forced to move out of because it's too expensive. I have absolutely no interest in moving to Florida at all. Well, it's familiar. It's home. I grew up not far from here in the grand scheme of things. And when I was growing up, Raleigh was like this, shining light on the hill. And it was like all my wild and crazy adventures when I got my license were all adventures to Raleigh. And a lot of my friends after high school moved to Raleigh, so I had a lot of friends here when I first moved here, and there used to be a lot of opportunity here to live a very nice, comfortable life, without and if you were just willing to work hard, you could have a nice life. That ship has sailed. That's now, if you're willing to work hard, then now you're just somebody's slave. But 20 years ago, if you were willing to work hard, you could have a real nice life here. The people are nice. It's just a lovely place to live. No, they used to be. They're not anymore. Now I'm just like some invisible bum. And also, it's not quite like it used to be. I mean, it used to be everyone was a local, or at the very least, they were from North Carolina. But now every other person is from some other state, and there's a lot of immigrants from other countries, and so it's losing its magic. It's turning out to be just some Walmart parking lot, just like everywhere else in the world. It's definitely losing its magic. Like yeah, it's just not like it used to be. Okay. My push-up record. Um, well, push-ups are really hard for me because of my collarbone and my neck. So I don't. Well, before all this happened to me was when I was 16. Before my neck got all screwed up. I was 16 when that happened. I was bedridden for months. I was in a wheelchair. I had to do physical therapy for a couple of years to relearn how to walk. I had a cane for a couple of years. It was real bad. And my neck and my collarbone, push-ups are real hard for me. And also my hands. It's really, really painful to do push-ups and stuff. My finger is all screwed up. So before that, I didn't really have a record, but I mean, I could knock out like 100 push-ups. I would do 100 push-ups on a pretty regular basis because I did taekwondo. Yeah, I used to be really athletic. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I showed you that picture. No, I mean, I did that. I'm telling you, I was extremely athletic. Yes, I would do, and I used to, yeah, twice a day, because I would do two of these, I would do two taekwondo classes back to back, and we would always run and then do push-ups and then start the class. And so I would always run at least a couple miles and then do like 100 push-ups and then do the class. Yeah, twice. So that would be for each class, and then I would do two classes back to back. So I would really do like 200 in a day, but 100 at a go. But those days are, I mean, that's way behind me. That is definitely not something that has anything to do with me anymore. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I showed you that picture of me. You can, I mean, if you go back to my Instagram and look at that picture of me as a teenager, you can look and tell that that's an athletic young man. I was in extremely good shape. I was very athletic. If this problem with my neck hadn't happened, I was going to grow up to be like a heartthrob. I was going to be extremely athletic. Why is this dude just sitting right next to me? Okay. No, that thumb drive, I never found that thumb drive, which is a real shame because there was some completely irreplaceable pictures on there, but whatever, that's life. There was some real irreplaceable stuff on there that I really wish I hadn't lost. But, you know, what are you going to do? Yeah, from the past, and stuff that I had written, and it's just gone. It makes me so sad that it's just gone, but it's just gone. No, I still have a bunch of pics from the past, but the stuff that was on that thumb drive is gone. It wasn't just pictures, it was also stuff I had written. And it's just gone. No, she didn't have these pictures. These were pictures, I still have my pictures from like when I was a little kid. These were pictures from my life as a young adult. And so basically all of my pictures from being a young adult were all just lost. Real irreplaceable stuff, but whatever, that's life. And stuff I had written that I thought was really good, but that's life. Really wish I hadn't lost that thumb drive, but whatever, that's life. Kinda, yeah, I do feel sad. That was a very exciting chapter of my life, and I do feel sad that it's over. I could have taken it a lot more seriously. I guess I'm whatever. I got so ridiculously shadow banned. It's just a joke. When I had that video hit 200,000 views, and then the next one hit 50,000 views, and the next one 5,000, and the next one 1,000, and then the next one 200. It's so demoralizing to keep going when you know you've been shadow banned like that. And then people started getting arrested, and And the whole thing that I was a part of just turned into this toxic crap. Like, I don't think girls are icky. I don't hate girls. I don't hate Jews. Like, I just don't understand any of that. I just think that's all so ridiculous. So you weren't bothered by Antifa harassing me? I wasn't. I was flattered for all the attention. I feel. I mean, I don't even know what Antifa even is. When you say Antifa, I can tell you with certainty that Antifa would have an event, and then people would show up, and very oftentimes, pretty much all the time, they would have an event either on a college campus or across the street from a college campus. And they did that at a time when hating Trump was like a trendy thing to do. And so a large portion of the people in that crowd were just in that crowd for something to do. They weren't in that crowd because they really believed in the message of the people putting it on. They just were in there just for something to do, a lot of them. And a lot of them were in there out of curiosity. They just wanted to see what it was all about, and they weren't there to support it or oppose it. They were just there. And I know because I was in the crowd. I mean, it's hard to get an idea from what something is like from some clip from the internet, especially when the clip is cherry-picked and edited with an agenda. But when you're there and you're in a crowd of people and, you know, you're directly experiencing it, you can really get a vibe for it. And the same thing with Black Lives Matter. It was like so much of the crowd was just young people who were just there for something to do. That was really all it was to it. And then there was also a lot of people there that were there to support it, but not in a violent way and not in an extreme way. And they weren't there to support, like, they didn't really fully understand what they were even supporting. They just knew the basic concept of it, and they supported that. And they interpreted someone like me as like a neo-Nazi. So a lot of the people that were there to support it were misled and didn't understand what they were supporting and what they were opposing. So there was only a very, very small core group that was like really gung-ho and really understood what it was all about. And those were the same damn people every time at every event. And then the more and more I did it, the more and more I learned about those people and how they operate and their connections to organizations and local politicians and also local news like ABC and NBC type big news organizations. Around here, it's mostly ABC that is sketchy, but also CBS. NBC, I never had as much of a run-in with them, but CBS and ABC. And so it's all just bullshit. It was all just, like, when you go and you're actually a part of it, you see it for what it is. It's a bunch of news organizations that are all part of these lawyer groups, like the DSA is not a lawyer organization, but it's an organization that's full of a bunch of lawyers that is like the buffer between these local politicians and the local administrators of local politicians and local judges and local university administrators, using things like the DSA as this buffer between them and groups like the YDSA, which is the Young Democratic Socialists of America, which is a recruiting arm inside of all these colleges that are literally, their job is literally to get a bunch of sorority sluts to go to these parties dressed up like sluts. And and they're all I hate Trump parties. And then they get these like semi-homeless drug addicts to go to these parties. And they essentially put these semi-homeless drug addicts in a position where you can either be a semi-homeless drug addict, or you can live this like rock star lifestyle, but you gotta be our thug. You gotta be our hoodlum. But don't worry, because the judge is in on it. And so is the police chief, and so is the city council, and so you don't got nothing to worry about. And that little core group will stage an entire event just for a handful of photo ops. And the whole thing is all done so that they can set up a photo op. And it's all about a good clip that they can get to go viral. And it's so fake. And then you go and you realize the right is exactly the same bullshit. Except they just use, instead of mostly college kids, it's mostly boomers. And so they're not using the DSA and the YDSA to get a bunch of college kids to show up. They're using social media and Facebook and Twitter to get a bunch of boomers to show up. But it's the same thing. It's all about like, it's all so fake. The whole thing, like, when I get there and I see it for what it is, I realize the whole thing is so fake. It's so fake. It's all so fake. It's so despicable to think of that fake-ass bullshit as being something real. I'm rambling right now. Feel free to interject. I'm just on a total ramble spree right now. I hope you're going to edit this. What would you do if you found 1 million? If I found $1 million? If I found $1 million cash, turn it into the cops. Yeah, I would probably, because if I found it, that means somebody else lost it. So I'd feel bad. Like, what if I lost $1 million? I would want somebody to I'd want somebody to give it back to me. So I would just turn it back into the cops. And then if the cops, I think if nobody claims it, then the cops let you keep it. But I'm sure they're going to take a cut, and then I'm going to pay taxes on it. So if I was lucky, I'd actually maybe keep half of it. I would probably pay taxes on that much money. If I suddenly had $1 million in the bank, and it was like I'd already paid all taxes on it, and there was nothing sketchy about it, and it was mine to spend on whatever I want. I would buy. What would I do if I had $1 million in the bank? Well, I wouldn't bother with some survivalist thing. Like, I wouldn't bother with a bug out cabin and stuff. Because if civilization collapses, I'm going down with the ship. I'm not going to survive something like that. I'm just going to die. So, I would just, if I had $1 million, I think I would buy a house, like a humble house. I think I'm a patient person, and so I would try to find some land or an old house. Yeah, I'd try to find like a real old house for sale in the part of the world I'm already in, and live in it until it just simply fell apart, which would hopefully be decades. And eventually I would like set up a tent in the very back of the yard and just live in the tent and have somebody rebuild the house. So anyway, let me start over. Edit all that out. Let me say this is my answer to that question. If I had $1 million, I feel like this is going terrible. I feel like this interview is not me at my best. You started out asking some real depressing questions that have got me. Plus, those dudes earlier really got me in a weird mood. So, if I had $1 million, I would buy a house that and maybe try to see if I could, in a real cheap way, take the house and make it into like 2 studio apartments, or maybe even 3, and then live in one of the studio apartments and rent out the other 2. But I'd still want to have privacy. Like I'd set it up where I had the whole upstairs to myself or something like that. But I'd want to buy a house that was big enough, or at least a plot of land that was big enough where I could have a family there one day and either raise a family in that house or tear down that house and build another house. But until then, I would be satisfied with just like a studio apartment. And so then I would try to figure out how to rent out the rest of the house. And I would call up Bruce and say, Bruce, I got a place for you if you want to live here. My old neighbor. I'd want some really cool people, and I'd give them a really low rent. Like I'd want to be that landlord that was just a blessing, where the one or two people that were actually living in my house would be so hooked up with paying super low rent. And then I guess I'd maybe try to reboot the whole Nash Jr. thing and start streaming on Twitch and start streaming on YouTube and get a nice microphone and a nice camera and try to make something in a Nash Jr. Maybe even do some stand-up comedy and try to make some funny videos and make some kind of an effort to I would try to do that. Make some kind of an effort to reconnect with people that I had connected with and try to network. This is like Ashton Whitty and Millennial Matt are 2 people that would definitely recognize me if I were to somehow be able to get in touch with them. And I would, be like, hey, if I put a little money in your PayPal, would you do a show with me? And then I would hope that would go well and get a couple viral clips out of that. And then go from there through Ashton Whitty. If I were to play my cards right, I might be able to network and maybe one day get the Lauren Southern interview and maybe the Chrissy Meyer interview, the Brittany Vinci interview, and then through Millennial Matt, I could maybe try to squash the beef with Baked Alaska. Wink, wink. We know that's not really what I'd be doing, is setting a trap, but don't let him know that. I'd do an interview with Baked Alaska and just let him know how much of a creep I think he is. Then hope to get some good clips of me. And no, I can't. I can't. I wouldn't do that. Through Millennial Matt, I would try to get the Nick Fuentes interview. I'd pass on the Baked Alaska thing. Now that I think about it, even if I could set it up, I just no. And then if I had, some viral clips, maybe do some gaming, then one thing might lead to another, and I could get me the Leafy is here interview, and then get the Keemstar double interview where I'm interviewing him while he's interviewing me, and then work my way up to Mr. Beast, and then PewDiePie, and then eventually Donald Trump. Well, no, then Alex Jones, and then Roger Stone, and then Donald Trump. And then once I finally got the Donald Trump interview, I would let Trump know, like, you suck, man. Like, you really suck. You ruined Gamergate culture. You ruined the Pepe meme culture. You really ruined everything. Like, you suck. I hope you die. And that would go super, ultra, mega viral. All the right-wingers would all be calling me a traitor. All the leftists would all be like, ooh, got him. And then I would come out and say the N-word. And I feel like that would be a good cap to my career. But I wouldn't say the N-word like as a racial slur. I would just drop it one day. Just be like, yo, nigger. Oh, I did it just now. I'm not ready for that. Definitely got to edit that out. Put a beep over that. How much would you give Dan? Wait, was Dan part of my plan? Oh, and I'd also want to make white babies at some point. I don't know if $1 million is enough to pay for a white baby. They're expensive. Well, it would definitely allow me the opportunity to eat food again and have, like, it would be pretty sweet. But I'm not gonna lie, like, a part of me would feel, I don't think it would fix my depression. It would just it would just allow me to live a comfortable life again. No, I wouldn't donate any of it. I would keep it because I would want to be like living off of it. And if I were to start a family, see, I would live an extremely humble way of life. I would just live in a studio apartment, try to rent out the rest of the house, and try to get to where I'm living off of that rent, and just live a very humble way of life. And just honestly, once I got that all set up, I would go and buy a bunch of gold, maybe, or something like that. I wouldn't want to put it in and just leave it in the bank, and I wouldn't want to mess with Bitcoin or stocks or nothing. I would just go buy a bunch of gold, I think, and literally bury it in the backyard or something like that. And just put it in God's hands and be like, God, if somehow I can get me a based, cool, Kekistanian female to make me my white babies, then I'll dig up that gold. I'll tell these people that are living with me that you got to leave, but I wouldn't kick them out like I got kicked out. I would help them find a. That would be awkward to have someone living downstairs, and then I suddenly make them leave. So I would try to find them another place and give them plenty of time, like a year or two. But I would try to maneuver my house back to being empty. So that's one great thing about college kids, is that you don't have to worry about that as much. Because I would just feel so terrible kicking somebody out. That's the one downside to all of this, is what if there was somebody living downstairs who wanted to keep living there the rest of their life? Then that almost makes me feel like I would only rent out to college kids to try to avoid that from happening. Because if I just couldn't do it, I would feel so bad giving somebody a really good rent on a really nice place and then kicking them out after 10 years or something. That would be an issue. So I put it in God's hands. I'd just be like, if there's a way to, like, if these people move out and I get a based girl and she's down to make some white babies, then we'll take this house and turn it into a nice family house and try our luck raising our babies. And that I think would be a very challenging thing to do with $1 million. So $1 million might not even be enough to pull that off, you know? So I'd be very frugal with that money, and I wouldn't donate it to anybody. Unless I did not get a woman and I did not have a family, then I would, when I became an old man, I would dig up that gold, and then I'd start giving it away. So is that an okay plan of what I would do with $1 million? But I don't even like to think about it. Plus, I would still be a very depressed person because of the way the world is and all the homelessness and all the starvation and all the ugliness that people have towards one another. And I just feel like every day the world just gets worse. And I would still be a very unhappy person. I don't think that's ever going to change. But I would be a much less unhappy person if I had a studio apartment and I had my own kitchen and my own bathroom, and if I also had like a shack in the backyard where I could set up my drums. And yeah, if I had control over my life and I had walls that were soundproof so that I could be in my little studio apartment and not worry about my neighbor, the guy right under me, hearing everything I say through some super thin boomer crap. If I had a studio apartment with my own kitchen and my own bathroom, and I could actually afford to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I also could afford a new car once this car breaks down, which is inevitable that it will eventually happen, then that would definitely give me a lot more peace of mind. But I would still be a very depressed person. I think I will always be a very depressed and unhappy person for the rest of my life because of external reasons, not internal reasons. So unless the world gets fixed, I don't see that ever changing. And I honestly get very irritated with people who keep telling me I'm the problem and I'm the one that needs to fix myself when I don't see it that way. And it's like, I just wish people would fuck off. And I also get very irritated with people who tell me that my physical problems aren't that bad. But can you trick your mind into ignoring 9/11? No, never. I could never do that. I could never do that. I could never do that. There's no way I'm ever gonna get over that, ever, for the rest of my life, ever. So if my fake government under the leadership, if this military oligarchy called the United States of America, with its fake bullshit, fake government that's just a big psyop, if this military oligarchy run by a military that is illegitimate and has no authority at all, and does nothing by the book, because there's no book that they can write for themselves that trumps the Second Amendment. And the Second Amendment is clear that the military might of the United States of America was supposed to be in the hands of the citizens and private militias, not in a government-run military. And certainly not in a military that's above the government. The military thinks it has the authority to shut down the federal government and replace the federal government with some theatrical performance while they're conducting fake tribunals and fake executions, when a real tribunal happens out in the open after one side beats the other side. Real executions happen out in the open. So what they're actually doing is just kidnapping people and murdering people. This is the most illegitimate lie of a thing. There's no way I can just live under a tyranny like that and just blog it out and be like, oh, well, what are you going to do? There's no way I'm ever going to do that. So if this tyranny that I'm under wants me to be a comfortable slave, fuck you, assholes. I refuse. I'm not your little private You are not my commanding officer, and I don't take orders from you. You have no legitimacy. You're not a real thing. You're a bunch of traitors. Your very existence is a betrayal of the oath that you took when you swore to uphold the Constitution. Because the Constitution is clear that we're not supposed to have a standing military run by the government. And we're certainly not supposed to have a standing military that runs the government. So it's illegitimate. And if the answer is, well, why do you need a tank? If the answer is, well, you have no idea what China's up to, then what that means is that this Constitution laid out by dudes who wipe their ass with sticks because they lived 100 years before the invention of toilet paper. If these dudes from the Renaissance period, a bunch of Masons, if the government structure that they set up just doesn't work in 2022, rather than cover that up with a never-ending military oligarchy psyop, why don't we just say, okay, this government's not working anymore, and we need a new government system that actually works? Or uphold your oath that you took to the Constitution. You took an oath to defend the Constitution, which means you took an oath to defend private militias. But yet your very existence stands in defiance of private, it's so insane. The military has taken an oath to not exist. Think about how absurd this is. The military has taken an oath not to exist, because the Second Amendment clearly states they're not supposed to exist at all, and that they have no authority and no legitimacy, and they're not supposed to be there. And they took an oath to defend them not existing. So by continuing to exist, they're breaking their own oath. Traitors. And also, the World Trade Center was blown up, which means that this bunch of traitors, not only are they breaking their oath, they've committed crimes against humanity. And they think that they're going to just cover that up with some Trump boomer crap. And they're just going to do it. Because they got all these fucking boomers all worshiping their propaganda that therefore makes it okay. It doesn't. It doesn't make it okay. I mean, these guys are a bunch of faithless atheists. They would never be doing the things that they're doing if they believed in an afterlife and in some form of consequence. Because they're all going to hell. I mean, they're going to get the same treatment as Hitler and Lenin. And I mean, they're going to go they're going to get it real bad. Real bad. They fucking blew up the World Trade. They went to Iraq and they murdered hundreds of thousands of innocent people. Yeah, you're going to hell, guys. You're going to fucking go to hell for that. I get it. Yeah, but Republican propaganda. You're not supposed to say that. Okay, even if I didn't say that, even if I didn't say you're going to hell, you're still going to hell. It's not like you're going to hell because I say so. You're going to hell because you murdered hundreds of thousands of people. And that's just that one example. And then there's military black ops where they've been shipping heroin into this country and killing their own grandchildren and kidnapping kids so that they can control some dictator or some warlord in Africa by constantly supplying him with drugs and sex slaves from Kentucky. And it just has to be that way so we can maintain the global world order. You just don't understand that. I understand. You old fucks are the ones that don't get it. These thoughts I think in my mind are never going to go away. I can have $1 billion and this is never. So I can just be comfortable, but I wouldn't be comfortable. If you gave me $1 million, I would be uncomfortable in a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bathroom house all to myself. I would be uncomfortable, honestly, in a 1-bedroom apartment all to myself. I would only be comfortable in a crappy studio apartment that's with a thrown together kitchen that used to be a master bedroom. Like there was like basically it's a master bedroom with a kitchen in the corner, and it's just like some thrown together crap in some house from the 50s. And that's how I would live for the rest of my life, unless I got blessed with a wife who wanted to have a family, and then I would want to provide a life for my family that would be like a nice life, but still I would live a very, very humble existence. The idea of living like some rock star, or even just having a comfortable life in this military oligarchy with all these people all over the world who are the victims of my military's black ops and my military's false flags, and I'm supposed to just not talk about it because it makes Trump look bad and it upsets the boomers. Like, there's no way I'm ever going to be happy. The best I can do is to fake being happy for my wife and kids. Like, if I had a wife and kids, that would motivate me to really fake being happy. But otherwise, I'm a miserably unhappy, depressed loser, and I don't want anything more than a studio apartment. I want it to just be some old crappy crap. And I want my car to be 20-year-old old crappy car, and that's all I want. Because I am a part of all this. There is no way I'm just going to go along with it. Ever. Ever. I mean, never. When I say never, I mean never. You could give me $1 trillion. And if I had $1 trillion, then I would really be reckoned. I would, if I had $1 trillion, I would still live in a studio apartment. If I had $1 trillion, I would try to get 1,000 white women to make thousands of white babies, and I would be like, I would be labeled a domestic terrorist because I would be doing things like I would be trying to buy Twitter, I would be doing stuff like that. Like I would be, and I'd be rolling around, throwing money around like crazy. All these right wingers, I would be showing up in their super chat every time they go live. I drop $10,000 in their super chat. Like, and when I say right wingers, I mean ones that I like, and some leftists. I'd be all up in shoe on heads super chat, dropping 10 grand here, 10 grand there, and so it wouldn't even be about right and left. I would go into the Gamergate cool people. Let me go back. I mean back up, not right wingers. I would go into the Gamergate meme lord cool people who are willing to have real conversations about things that are real, like the government blew up the damn World Trade nucleus. So anyway, that's a big ramble. That was quite a rant. And honestly, my rants, they aren't any good anymore. My rants used to be so good. Now my rants are so cringe and boring. Yeah, like that rant was just so boring. And I used to be, and it's because I have this never-ending brain fog. It's not up to the standard. I used to be really good at ranting and raving. I'm not anymore. Because I'm in a brain fog. Like, I haven't had a good night's sleep in months. I haven't had a good meal in months. I'm in a brain fog. Like, I can't snap out of it. I just can't rekindle the magic. I used to really be magical in front of a camera and with a microphone. But I'm not anymore. I'm not anymore. And I feel like every time I do this, I just get worse and worse and worse and worse. Because I'm in such a brain fog, and I'm so miserably depressed and unhappy. And it's not because of me. Because I'm just so disappointed in my people and my leaders. I just walk around in this never-ending feeling of heartbreak. I just feel so let down. I'm so disappointed. And it'll never change. It'll be like this for the rest of my life. And that's that. Because, the decision has been made. Reboot the cover-up. I just want these fuckers to know you're going to hell when you die. Like, whatever is the consequence of screwing up your time here on Earth, all of you fuckers all covering up 9/11 and all this shit, you're going to go to hell when you die for doing that. Just so you know. All of you fuckers running the United States military. I'm not talking about the 3- and 4-star generals. They're not running shit. I'm talking about the real leadership of the United States military. You're going to hell when you die. Sure, let's take calls from fans. Okay. All right. How many push-ups can you do? I don't know. I would be lucky if I could do 1 now. I mean, I could probably maybe do 5. But that's me. I don't know, 20 or 30? You're gonna do them right now? How did it go? Okay. Yeah, I'd be happy if I could do 1. Was there other girl before Ashton? Okay, well, awkward thing to talk. So you're really gonna post this on the internet somewhere? That's just a very personal question. I'd rather not talk about that I'd rather not answer that question. I mean, I had a pretty serious crush on a girl once before, but then she got married and had a kid, and I never had any. It was never more than a crush. It was not like it is with. But I mean, that whole thing. I always had this idea in my head. Looking back, it was always just a fantasy. But I mean, if you want to talk about it, then it just seems like she has a type, you know? It seems like she has a type or had a type. And there was a time in my life when I wanted to be her type. Not because I wanted to just be whatever she wanted. Like, I genuinely wanted to be what it is that was her type. So I just had this idea that I was going to maybe become that. And then I just allowed myself to let her become the face of that idea. It was one thing to be, like, if I could ever get to the point where she was actually genuinely attracted to me, like she was attracted to the other examples of this type, which her type was kind of, I guess, right-leaning, alternative right-leaning, YouTube internet celebrities that are kind of edgy and are, handsome and are not poor and, are willing to talk about conspiracy theories. So, kind of edgy, alt-right internet celeb who is, kind of good-looking and healthy and has a decent income. And that's what I want it to be. And I want it to be like the gamer, meme, alt-right, pepe, Kekistanian, the Kek for life, pepe for life, gamer, alt-right, internet celeb who talked about conspiracy theories from time to time, and become successful at that to the point where I was on her radar, and she was attracted to me. And then I would know that I had accomplished my goal if she was actually attracted to me. But that was so many years ago. It's so blatantly obvious that I'm not going to become a Keck for life, Pepe for life, gamer, alt-right, internet celeb who talks about conspiracy theories, because that seems to just not really be a thing anymore. You can't become that anymore. If you already were that, then you could maybe try to keep it going, but nobody becomes that anymore. That's too bad for optics. Sorry, Trump has spoken. No, you don't get to do that, young people. No, it's against the rules. Trump is Trump. It's Trump. 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 It's, okay, fine, whatever. So, and also, even if it was still possible, I am a train wreck of a man. I just can't accomplish goals in life. I have really serious mental health issues, really bad personal habits, and I'm really screwed up back, and I'm really just miserably depressed and unhappy. I'm never going to ever become that. And she has also seems like she's taken. She finally found one of those that works for her, and she seems very much taken. And so, how are you compared to last year? Last year I was a worthless piece of trash. Now I am a homeless, worthless piece of trash. Basically. So, I was really dreaming big that the world that I saw coming into existence in 2016 is a world that has been destroyed. And I blame it mostly on politics, and I don't blame it on the left. I blame it on the right and the left. I blame it on selfish, greedy-ass frat boys and baby boomers. Frat boys and their little baby boomer handlers, the little baby boomer brokers, just ruined everything for everyone, so that they could win. It's all that matters is that you choose a side, and then it takes to make sure your side wins.
Okay, Benny. Okay, relax. Okay, so who did you want me to talk to? So who do you need me to talk to, Benny? Benny. Hello? Bruh. Hey. Bro, who'd you need me to talk to, man? I got you, yeah. All you had to do was open your mouth on camera. That's all you had to do was open your mouth, too. You could have just told me on camera, bro. Okay, well, did you want to put him in the room here, Benny, so we can talk to him? No, I got cat fight. Come on, Benny. Don't make. I might have to tend to a cat fight if you don't talk to me. Come on, what's going on? I can't. Okay, for Nash? No. Do I have questions for Nash? No. Does he have questions for me? I'm the one that can help him. I'm a Bible teacher. Yes. Okay, I can ask him something. Okay, so is he here now? Okay. All right, Nash, what do we have to do to have you know that Jesus is Lord and Savior?
Nothing.
Okay, you already know he's Lord and Savior?
I think he was God's presence here on the earth.
Well, God has a lot of presence on earth, but Jesus is very different. You see, even the waters are his presence. Do you read the Bible often?
I said nothing.
So do you,
This
read
isn't
the
something
Bible
that you have to
often?
do.
Well, my question is just about the Bible if you're already reading it, that's all.
I do not read it often, but I do read it from time to time.
Okay, what's your relationship with Benny?
Benny is like my best friend these days.
Okay. All right, so what are your goals right now and under the heavens?
I don't have any goals at all other than to try to get through the day, like try to breathe air and eat a little bit of food.
Okay, that's good. So it sounds like you might be going through some struggling right now and under the heavens.
Okay.
Which is good. You're supposed to struggle here on this plane of existence under the heavens. That's good.
I agree.
Yeah, that's going to bring you closer to the Lord. Yeah, so I don't know if there's anything I can help you with, Mr. Nash. I'm kind of just a little child here myself, waiting for God to take me home. And Jesus is the only way, and he shows me many, many things, but I don't know if I can help people with everything. I think I'm for a niche market. I've known Benny for a few years. I don't even know a lot about him because he doesn't, use his voice too much. Are you guys located in the same area?
No, we're not.
Okay, so his name right here is Mark Dice. That's not Benny's. That's not Benny's phone, is it? Or
No, I don't. I mean, I don't know what I should say or what I shouldn't say. But I don't think Benny is really Mark. I don't think Benny is actually Mark Dice.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Is that it says Mark Dice right now, but I'm talking to you, so you're using his account, or?
No, I don't. I've answered that question in the past and been scolded and told not to answer it, so I'll just let you think I'm crazy and say
No, I don't think you're crazy. It's all going to be revealed. I'm just trying to figure out how could I don't know what to tell you. I'm just saying, like, what do you want me to do? I mean, is there something that I can do for you or Benny? I'm just, he told me to talk to you. He said your name was Nash?
Yeah. Are you the guy from Arizona?
That's right, yes. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, right now living in southern Arizona, just north of Mexico.
Benny said that he was going to get a fan of mine from Arizona to talk. I guess that's you.
That is me, yes. My name is, on here it's the XO, that stands for Executive Officer. But in the real world, obviously, my name is Mr. Masta. My last name is Masta. That's Mike Alpha Sierra Tango Alpha, spelled M-A-S-T-A. That is my birth name. My first name is obviously different. I don't want Ben to have my first name just yet. Eventually he will. But I go by Mr. Masta. In reality, that's my real last name. But I don't have any blood relatives in my life at all. My entire family was taken away from me. God removed them because they were in my way. Even my own mother had to be removed out of my life because she was a Satanist. So God now has adopted me. I'm now God's child. And now I'm living in this beginning of revelation time that we are in. We are in the great deception right now, and things are being revealed. And Elohim, our Heavenly Father, is calling upon his children, sometimes called Christians, to preach his word. So that's my job right now, Mr. Nash, until I leave this existence and go to heaven eventually.
All right. Well, I'm glad that's working out for you.
Yeah, so he said I was going to interview you and ask you questions. I thought you were going to ask me questions. Usually that's how this goes. But is there something that you wanted to talk about with me that I can help you with?
Not really.
Well, that's a good answer. Yeah, the only person that can help you is obviously the Lord in the heavens, Jesus, our Messiah. If there's any information Benny can give me to maybe help me out, that would be useful, but I'm not entirely sure what he wanted me to do. He didn't give me any, backdrop or information here. So I'm assuming that are you in Europe or North America?
I live in North Carolina.
Okay, yeah, all right. Not only North America, North Carolina. North Carolina, I see that, Benny. Dan's city. Why is your icon so big? I can't see it. Let me turn it sideways. And he actually located Dan, yes, okay, and went to his house. Dan was scared.
Well,
Shitless, right. Okay, I'm still missing some of the pieces, Benny. I don't know the whole story here. Eventually, Benny, you'll have to inform me a little bit more. And is Benny located with you, or is he in another area? Mr. Nash.
Benny's a very private person. I mean, Benny, do you want me to answer that, or Benny is not near me?
Okay, all right, but he's talking, but he's talking through a system that allows him to use this screen name, and you're using it at the same time. I'm seeing.
Basically, I guess you could say it that way. It's called a patch.
He's able to. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
It's called a patch, or at least that's what I've called
patch. Right. Okay. Yeah, Benny's been very elusive. I think I met him about 7 years ago. Still not sure what his agenda is. Do you know what his agenda is?
Just to hang out and have fun seems to be mostly what Benny is focused on.
That sounds about right. Okay, I'll take it. Sure.
Yeah.
To bring people to Jesus. Okay. That's probably something in the back of his mind. Knocked on Dan's door. Who is Dan, though, Benny? Who is Dan? Oh, no, he's not my enemy. He's my friend. Pax is not my enemy. Yeah, the pervert. Yeah, he's not my. Yeah, he tried to. Yeah, he asked me to. He asked me perverted things. Yes. Do you know this person? This Pax person, Nash?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a close relationship with him?
I mean, he's a good friend of mine, but just through Discord.
But have you met him in person?
Actually, a couple times.
Okay. And is he as weird as he? I bet he's not quite as weird in person. I'm guessing, huh? He probably calms down a little.
I mean, my experience with him is been very normal. Not anything weird. Just going.
Right,
it was
right,
all
right.
before all the masks and stuff. We just went to a bar a couple times, and I don't drink, so I just ate some bar food, and he had some drinks and got drunk. And when he's drunk, he gets real giggly and funny, and that's pretty much the extent of my time hanging out with him in real life. But I have had a lot of fun hanging out with him in real life, and I miss doing it. I've only done it a handful of times. The vast majority of the time I've spent with him has been on Discord. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. I feel bad that he must have rubbed you the wrong way somehow.
Yeah, he has a little bit of Satan inside of him. He tries to push kind of a child abuse doctrine of evolution, and which is one of the main child abuse religions in the world. It has been for 150 years, and it destroys the minds of millions of children, turning them into perverted criminals. And that's why the crime rate has skyrocketed in the past 50 to 100 years, because people think they come from monkeys. And Pax is still pushing that religion because he uses it to justify his lifestyle. And I'm not sure what his lifestyle is. Maybe it's, homosexuality. Maybe it's pornography. Maybe it's heterosexual also issues. I'm not really sure what his issue is, but he has some sort of moral issue where he hides from reality and he just wants to have fun. And that's how he uses his evolution religion and pretends he's a believer in God when he's really a believer in man. He loves the ideas of man. He thinks that the religion of evolution is his escape route so that he can stuff skeletons in the evolution religion and justify his lifestyle. So yes, I do have a problem with that. Not necessarily because that's his view. If he just kept that to himself, Nash, that would be fine. But the problem is he doesn't. He comes on the internet and tells other people several lies to justify that perverted religion of Satanism, was actually what it is. So yeah, him being a Satanist, I have a problem. If he was a closeted Satanist, it wouldn't be as bad as a problem, but he makes it public, and that's why it's an abomination unto the Lord, for sure.
Okay. What do you think happened on 9/11?
Just a satanic ritual, obviously. There were no planes. I know that for a fact. I used to work for the government. Yep, there were no planes.
You think there were no planes? So you think the planes were CGI or I've heard this before that the planes were CGI.
Yeah, there were no planes.
Or
Yep, there were no planes. Yep, they couldn't risk an issue. They had to make sure it was executed, so they just filled in with the TV and bullshit like that. Because there could have been a rogue military pilot that could have stopped a plane, so they couldn't take that risk. They had to make sure that they would just insert CGI. They probably had a couple of drones flying around to confuse people. Maybe they had some planes flying around so that witnesses saw planes, but no, the planes never hit those towers. No, they were just imploded and then destroyed. Yep, for a satanic ritual.
Yeah. Well, I definitely agree about the implosion part. How certain are you about the no planes part? Because I'm on the fence about that.
For an absolute fact. Absolute fact. They could not risk a plane getting shot down or something and ruining the whole thing. So they absolutely would never risk. They don't allow an option for failure. What if an engine went out? What if something happened? What if the pilot was? What if like they had to be? If they were planes, they were remote control, but there weren't planes because they couldn't risk actually physically putting planes in there because what if they were shot down?
Yeah, I'm on the fence about it, that there were either no planes or that the planes were being controlled by autopilot, like that there were drones, and that they weren't even regular passenger jets. If they were drones, then they would have been reinforced and in order to penetrate the steel.
There's no witnesses, but there's zero witnesses. There's nobody. There's no video of.
People here say that they saw missiles. It looked like missiles.
What's that?
And it also,
we have a guest on my end that just joined. So say hello to
they also said that they heard an explosion. They was like it was blown up. The buildings was blown up.
Benny, wait. All right, Benny, wait with the voiceovers. Benny, wait with the voiceovers. Okay, wait.
No, this is actually Perry this time. It's not. But the thing about the basement.
Oh, is that Perry?
Yes. The thing about the basement is, as far as I know, there were tactical nukes that were set off in the basement in collaboration with the and I would not call that an implosion, honestly. what happened to Building 7 was a traditional implosion, but what happened to the Twin Towers was a more like a very unique controlled demolition that was an explosion.
Those are the two biggest controlled demolitions in history. They just look a little bit bigger, but there are no nuclear weapons. There's no such thing. Elohim does not allow his children of Satan to, of course, destroy things with nukes. No, they have conventional weapon systems, but nukes are a hoax. There's no such thing. They just rigged it up a certain way. Yes, there's certain things I don't know about it. I don't spend too much time about it because it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
I've always been under the impression it was tactical nukes, but there had to have been a very large explosion in the basement in collaboration with the controlled demolition because of the interior frame where the elevators were had to also come down.
They fell into their own footprint, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal. It's honestly a very small issue. It's just a normal satanic ritual, and retards fell for it. We have a bigger satanic ritual going on for the past 2.5 years that shows that we're surrounded by demon-possessed retards. Not only are the governments controlled by demon-possessed, perverted retards, the fact that the entire world went along with their hoax the last 2.5 years shows that the entire population is also possessed by demons. Yeah, it's a bunch of, we're just surrounded by fucking retards with no brains.
When you say hoax, are you referring to, the so-called pandemic or the stolen election?
Yes, correct. No, the stolen elections is a hoax, and just to even pay attention to the election is ridiculous. You got to be nearly brain dead to think you can vote for anybody. That's ridiculous. So yes, this hoax, cover your face, pandemic, scamdemic, just shows that we're surrounded by absolutely brain dead retards, and these people that have allowed it to happen are just as guilty, and they are going to also go to the lake of fire.
Can I tell you something?
Where they belong.
Can I tell you something? I actually managed to get through the entire thing without ever wearing a mask in public ever. That was challenging. That was quite challenging. I had basically had to give up going out in public, but I did do it. I pulled it off.
Okay, I'm going to make a guess, and you probably haven't been sick in about 2 years.
I did get very, very sick.
You did get sick? Okay.
See, well, let me tell you what happened. It's actually an interesting story. I had a YouTube channel, and my YouTube channel started out kind of as a joke, but it evolved into covering politics, but it was always in a very tongue-in-cheek kind of way. And so anyway, I went to Richmond, Virginia in January of 2020. So right before anybody was even talking about the virus. And this was a pro-Second Amendment rally, but I just went there to get footage for my channel and to make a good video. So I'm at this pro-Second Amendment rally. There's all these, right-wingers there. There's a bunch of Proud Boys there. Alex Jones was there. There's all these people there, shoulder to shoulder, like 20,000 people. And then on the way home, I didn't even get home. On the way home, I got a really bad sore throat. And by the time I got home, I was more sick than I've been in years. I had the worst cold that I've ever had. It was extremely bad, but it was just a cold. It wasn't like it was some deathly illness. It was just a cold, but it was the worst cold I've ever had. But since then, I have not been sick. Nothing has happened to me since January of 2020. And I've always wondered, was something sprayed on the crowd? Like, what a coincidence that I would go to this crowd with all these right-wingers and then go home. And it was a lot of military guys. It was a lot of, pro-Second Amendment military-looking guys. And both of the other two guys that... I have a friend I went there with and a friend that I met up with while there. And both of them also got extremely sick when they got home. So, what a coincidence. But that's just, was weird to me. I don't have any idea if I was sprayed with anything or if anything was released on that
you
crowd.
could have been. Yeah, you could have been. You absolutely could have been. It could have been fecal bacteria spray. You know, you're dealing with a bunch of fucking sycophant weirdos. Somebody showed up pretending to be some right-wing dumbass. You know, another form of retard are these right wings as well. Satan gives you two options. It's his eagle. You have a left wing or right wing. You're part of the same fucking bird. It's all a scam, bro.
Yeah. I very much agree
I'm
with
just
you on
letting you
that.
know.
I just want to make it clear that I went there, you know, like I'm not like some hardcore right-winger, but I was there and got real sick. But that was in January of 2020, so nobody was even talking about anything back then. And then once the pandemic hit, I didn't get sick at all. Nothing happened. No, I've got no jabs, no vaccines, and I never wore a mask, and I'm just fine.
Okay, then let me reassert my spiritual understanding. I was absolutely right. I said for the past 2 years, I bet you haven't gotten sick. So the Lord tells me about you. So that's what I said.
Yeah.
I said you haven't been
For the
sick
past
for 2
2 years,
I know for a fact.
2.5 years ago. Like you'd have to go 2.5 years ago is when this happened.
Yeah.
So for the past 2 years, been very healthy. Been very healthy.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Very normal. Yeah. And sometimes Elohim allows us to be attacked. Okay. When Job, if you read the book of Job, that might want to be your next book you read. You need to read the book of Job. You pronounce his name Yov originally in Hebrew. Use the Y if you need to get closer. But when Satan approached God, Nash, Satan and the sons of God approached God, Elohim. And when they approached him, it was Elohim that told Satan, consider my servant Job. Have you ever heard of that, Nash?
I'm familiar with the book of Job. I was actually reading it just the other day. That's I actually don't read. I'm a confession. I don't read the Bible. I never read the Bible. I go on YouTube and there's a book on tape. I like to have somebody read the Bible to me. I've always been like that. I've always ever since I've had access to YouTube. Okay. So I was listening to the book of Job just the other day. But
good. All right. You can do it your way. Okay. I just want to point out that in the book, the very important lesson that you need to know, which you missed. Okay. I want you to look at it again. The very beginning. It's very important. The very beginning is literally a massive thing that most people don't know. Most Christians don't know. Christians don't have a clue. They don't know how to read either. They don't want to read. They can't pay attention. They're missing the whole fucking thing. In the very beginning, Nash, it is God that decides that Job is going to be attacked by Satan. Do you understand?
Yeah, that's how I interpreted it. That Satan was challenging God to see if Job would stay faithful even if he lost everything.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. That God
wanted to prove him wrong.
Job out to Satan. Well, God, Elohim, pointed Job out to Satan. So God chose Job to be attacked by Satan. God pointed him out to Satan, actually.
Right. I got
so
that.
Elohim, So Elohim decides. So when you are attacked, realize that God loves you, and he's going to test you by allowing Satan to attack you. And the worst thing you can do is die. Who cares? If you die in this flesh, who cares? We should only fear who can take our flesh and our spirit. And Satan cannot take our spirit if you don't let him. Just you stay with God, and it doesn't matter anyway. So understand that it has to happen for a reason.
Right. I agree.
So I will read some Bible from you. I'm going to read it from my heart. It says, love not the world, neither the things of the world. For if any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and lust of the eyes and the pride of this life is not of the Father, but is of this world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. Bye-bye. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. So you have two options in this existence under the heavens, Mr. Nash. You can be of the world or you can be of the word. And he says, if you obey him, if you do the will of the Father, you will abide with him forever. And there's nothing worth even compromising that at all. There's nothing that's going to be more important than your relationship with Elohim. He has something set up for you, which maybe you don't know yet. I don't know what it is, but he does. And the only way to understand, Mr. Nash, is to first admit you don't understand. To first admit, you know what, Lord,
Right.
I can't understand without you. I need you, Lord. I need you, my Father, my Adonai, my great I am, whatever you use to call God. You need to find out by telling him that you can only understand if he shows you. You can't figure it out, Nash, is what I'm telling you. You cannot understand it. You have to admit that to him so that he can just allow you to get his understanding. You can't figure it out. We have to submit to him.
Okay.
So yes, I'm just telling you that's I don't have much in this life that you might think is important, but I have a lot of things that the entire world does not have because he has given me his understanding. I wasn't able to figure it out, Mr. Nash, but he showed me. And we are in the great deception. There are so many hoaxes that you already brought up one. I want you to know that 9/11 is a very small, mediocre, little entryway hoax. That's the entryway satanic deception. That's why I hardly ever talk about. It's nothing compared to the outer space deception. The outer space deception has literally destroyed the minds of millions and millions of lives. Billions. Probably over 1 billion people are being destroyed.
Well, I'm a 9/11 truther. That's kind of my thing. That's what I talk about.
Well, yes, but eventually you're going to graduate. You should eventually graduate and expand onto much bigger issues. There's many bigger problems. They're already exterminating us. I have a channel that I already caught them.
Disabled adults and children. I'll be right back. I got a phone call. I'll be right back.
Okay. Whoa. That dude talks fast. He seems very eager to get me to stop talking about 9/11. Noticing the pattern here, lots of people don't want me to talk about that. It makes me want to only talk about that. 9/11, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11. Hey, did you know that on September 11th, 2001, we got another fan call? It's from Indiana. A fan wants to ask so tired. I'm so hungry. I'm so over it. What's the fan from Indiana want to ask me? The interview? No, I'm just in life in general. I'm just so tired and lonely and hungry and miserable. So what does the fan from Indiana want to ask? He has issues. You mean like technical issues? Technical. Is that other guy coming back? Like, I want to comment on him, but I don't want him to come back mid-comment. So I'm trying to be polite. But, okay. That dude talks a lot. It's also quite rude. Like, he just assumed that I got it wrong about the Book of Job. Like, I got it right. I mean, it's pretty... Why do you gotta talk to me like that? And if I assume when he says the space, yes. No, he's quite rude. He's very rude. I mean, but he's letting me talk and he's listening to me, and I appreciate that. But he has little moments here and there where he's quite rude, and very old school. Very old school. Someone like that would never, if the second coming of Jesus Christ were to take place right in front of him, he would never believe it. He would never let go of the past, ever. Guys like that are stuck in the past. It's okay if he doesn't. But when he says the space deception, I'm curious as to whether he's talking about something to do with aliens or flat Earth, and that there is no space. Okay. and no nukes? The nukes don't exist. That's so. That's a tough pill to swallow. That nukes don't exist. The whole thing about there's no planes, like I'm definitely on the fence about that. That there's no planes. I think there may or may not have been planes. I used to be very opposed to there's no planes because I used to think it was impossible that there could be no planes. But I'm now starting to be more open-minded. But it just seems like I don't know. It seems to me more likely that there were drones and that they were reinforced drones that shot out a missile right at the last second, and that's what pierced the building, and then there was a massive explosion due to the amount of explosives on the plane. So it was like a missile with wings, basically, with a little mini missile that shot out at the last second. And real big, but I've also seen some very bizarre footage from the news that does appear to be doctored and CGI, and that's hard to explain. So I've thought maybe they wanted to cover up what the planes looked like. The planes looked like obviously military drones, so they put CGI on the news to make it look like a passenger jet. So there could be both. There were planes and fake footage. Or there could be no planes, so then obviously fake footage. But there was just so many people who reacted. When did you start being a truther? I'm gonna be honest with you, right from the get-go, as soon as it happened, I wasn't like truth right from the, whoop, what was that? Somebody there? I wasn't a real truther. Okay. I wasn't a real truther right from the start. But when it very first happened, I had a feeling that something was off about that. And honestly, it wasn't the buildings coming down that threw me off. It was the way the government reacted to it. That they just immediately started invading all these other countries. So I didn't really believe it was a inside job at first, but I did believe that the Bush administration was lying their ass off about Afghanistan and Iraq. And like I had just a gut feeling. And so I guess looking back, I must have thought that they were being opportunist and taking advantage of it. But then I'd say about 2004. Can I do you a favor? Okay, sure. Can I? Okay, yeah. Won't let me. I'm trying to. Boy, it's really screwed up.